So I just recently learned something that was shocking to me about passwords, and I felt it would be very important for me to share it with you in case you're operating under the same misguided notion that I was. I used to think that complex passwords were secure. So let's take an example here. So I'm using this tool called Password Monster. It's at passwordmonster.com, and I'm not endorsing this website. In fact, they don't even know that I'm using this for this video. But this password that I just put in the little tester right here, Cisco router with an exclamation point at the end, that's obviously not that complex. But if I try to be clever and say, well, I'm going to replace the I with a 1, I'm going to replace the O with a 0, and maybe I'm going to replace, I don't know, replace this O with a 0, I haven't dramatically made it that much less hackable, but I did what I would think was being complex. I thought I was being clever. And let's take another example. Let's say I'm going to be clever and I'm going to use patterns on my keyboard. So maybe I'm going to look at my keyboard. I'm going to do a Q, A, Z, W, S, X, E, D, C. Wow. Now, to me, that seems like I'm being kind of clever and complex. Maybe I'm going to be even more clever. I'm going to stick an exclamation point at the end. I haven't really accomplished anything. And the reason this is because the brute force libraries in use today have incorporated all these patterns. So what really matters that I've found at the end of the day is either randomness or length, or in a perfect world, both. So let me use my LastPass generator here to make a random password. So this is, if you're not familiar with this, LastPass is a password management tool. And again, I'm not necessarily endorsing that. I just something I had to generate the tool to generate the password. So I'm going to copy that, paste that in here. All right, so look at that. So I think that's a 12-character password right there. All right, so that's pretty strong. But now watch this. If I add a little bit at the end, like say, maybe some more random characters, look how much just 4 more characters does to the strength of the password. Now let's say, forget randomness. Let's say, nope, sorry, Steve, I got to be able to memorize these things, so therefore I have to be able to have something that I can memorize. All right, well, let's go back to our Cisco one, all right? But this time, actually, forget it. Let's just type Cisco router. All right, and a bang. All right, so we've got our 10 hours, pretty crackable, right? But so we're going to be lazy and say, I'm not going to do randomness because I can't remember it, but I am going to add length. And maybe that length is just a few random characters that you can accommodate. So maybe a star, the letter R, and then maybe a percent and open parentheses. Just those 4 additional characters makes a big difference. All right, so bottom line is, what I want you to take away from this is randomness is better than anything, but length is also very good. So if you can't be random, at least try to be long. All right, thanks so much for watching. Hope that helped you out with your password management.